seconds to go. Puts it up and scores at the buzzer. All the man is out on the field. That's another knockdown. You know, Jim. You believe in miracles? Yes.
The All Things Sport Podcast with your hosts, Damian Banks and Pierre Banks on Spreaker Radio.
What's happening? What's up? What's going on? It's the All Things Sport Podcast, and I am your host, Damian Banks, broadcasting to you live from Banks Boy Studios right here in Durham, North Carolina. It's the All Things Sport Podcast, where I give you, the listener, just that, all things sport. Ladies and gents, boys and girls, what's happening? I'm back. It's been quite a while since you heard me. I missed you. It's been a rough couple weeks for your boy. I had that dreaded summer cold. We all hate the summer cold, but I did find out something very important when I had my summer cold. Vicks Puffs Tissue. That's 3 words. Vicks Puff Tissue. Man, if you got a stuffy nose in the summertime, Puffs has created a tissue that's laced with Vicks Vapor Rub. So if you're a young African American such as myself, you know, growing up, when you got sick, your mom rubbed your chest with Vicks Vapor Rub. It made everything better, cleared you right on up. Puffs has created a tissue in which you can blow your nose with Vicks Vapor Rub, and it was a revelation. I feel a lot better now. It's been a couple of weeks since I've been on your airwaves again. I hope you missed me. I missed you guys. As always, follow your boy on Instagram and Twitter at Sports by Damian. That's SportsByDaimeon. Go to the website banksboy.com. Very interactive website. You can download this podcast, download old podcasts. We have a YouTube channel on the website. Myself and my brother Pierre Banks. He's also on Instagram and Twitter. You can follow him at Instagram and Twitter at N_my_humble. That's IN_MY_HUMBLE. N_my_humble. And we appreciate you. Like I said, it's been a couple weeks since I've did the podcast. Been a little bit under the weather. Also, my wife, LaShawn, she went out of the country for a week. She went to Copenhagen, Denmark for a week. She's in grad school right now at the University of North Carolina, Chapel Hill, finishing up her Master's of Business. So they did a week in Copenhagen, Denmark. So I was a single parent for a week. And let me tell you, bruh, I was good, but I was a little bit overwhelmed. And my daughter Loxley, she is a handful. She has a queen attitude already. People usually call their daughters little princesses. No, this girl has a queen attitude already. Her nickname, I call her Tude. Her name is Loxley, but I call her Tude because she has an attitude on her. So I was, I was a single dad for a week, and I missed my wife, man. I couldn't wait for her to come back so I could get some help. I salute all the single mothers out there. I don't know how you guys do it. Well, I should say I don't know how you gals do it. But I salute you. And it was also Mother's Day this past Sunday. So happy Mother's Day to all the mothers out there, man. My mom passed in 1997, but she raised 17 kids while she was here. So man, salute to all the mothers out there. Hope you guys had a great Mother's Day. Also, Loxley, I was talking about Loxley a couple seconds ago. She just turned 1 year old this past Saturday. Happy birthday, Boom. She is, I am a father of a 1-year-old. That's crazy, man. My daughter Loxley, she just turned 1. Again, Queen Loxley. Don't call her Princess Loxley. Call her Queen Loxley. Just turned 1 year old, man. Had a lot going on these past couple weeks while I've been off of the air, but I'm back and I'm better. I hope y'all miss me, man, because when I'm gone for the podcast, man, I feel an emptiness inside. And I miss you guys. I hope that you miss me too. Don't bring me to tears, man. Don't make a grown man cry. But I digress. The podcast, we're back. It's the All Things Sport Podcast. Again, I am your host, Damian Banks. The show is jam-packed. We got hot topics. We're talking about the NFL draft that just passed. We're talking about NHL hockey action for the playoffs. We're talking about the baseball season and Major League Baseball that just started. You know we got the NBA playoffs. It's popping 10. But before I get into all that, let me take a swig of my natural spring water. You know what time it is. This natural spring water is actually from Food Lion. I sometimes get it from Kroger, sometimes get it from Harris Teeter. This time it's from Food Lion, Nature's Place spring water. But it's, ironically, I think these companies, Food Lion, Kroger, Harris Teeter, they use the same spring. This is from a protected spring in Roaring Gap, North Carolina. And I think I've had a bottled water from Kroger in the past that's also from a spring in Roaring Gap, North Carolina. So let me crack this open, take a swig of this spring water, and we can get this thing poppington. Oh yeah. That's it. That hits the spot, man. Natural spring water is the way to go. Don't bring that purified drinking water around me, man. Don't bring that scared business around me, man. I prefer natural spring water, but I digress. The world of sports is an ever-evolving situation, so we got a lot of hot topics, man. I was watching a boxing match, I don't know, it was a couple weeks ago, maybe 2 weeks ago. I didn't know that it was for the heavyweight championship of the world, and I pride myself on knowing all things sports. So I was watching the match. I'm like, damn, these guys are huge, man. They're behemoths. They're Goliaths. It was Anthony Joshua taking on Vladimir Klitschko, man, for the heavyweight championship in the world. So Anthony Joshua, young buck, new jack, taking on the wily veteran Vladimir Klitschko. Klitschko hadn't lost in years. He did lose to Tyson Fury, but Tyson Fury, anyway, I digress. Vladimir Klitschko, one of the all-time greats in the heavyweight division, taking on Anthony Joshua. Pretty good fight. Actually, it was one of the best fights I've seen in recent memory. Joshua came away with the TKO victory in round 11 after he pretty much beat up Klitschko for the majority of the fight. Klitschko did knock down Anthony Joshua in the fifth round, I believe. I thought he knocked him out because Joshua was woozy. He hit him with an overhand right. Klitschko hit Joshua with an overhand right, and Joshua was woozy. But he came back and TKO'd Klitschko in the 11th. Now, they're talking about a rematch set for late October of this year. That remains to be seen, but congratulations to Anthony Joshua. He is from Europe, actually from one of those shires in England. He is the new undisputed heavyweight champion of the world. Also, you got NHL hockey playoffs. Only thing I got to say about the hockey playoffs is, as usual, per usual, the Washington Capitals, they blow it. They seem to blow it every year in the playoffs, man. Alexander Ovechkin, what are you doing, sir? What are you doing? All my Washington Capital fans, I have a fresh box of the Puffs Vic Vapor Rub tissue that I was talking about earlier. Have a fresh box for you. Go ahead and dry those tears, blow that nose. Better luck next year. Also in the hot topics, we have Major League Baseball season just now kicking off. It's about 40 games into the season. It's like a 162 game season in Major League Baseball. So it's a long season. It's a tortoise race. It's a snail's pace for Major League Baseball. You know, I'm a Baltimore Orioles fan. Been a Baltimore Orioles fan since I can remember. My favorite player of all time, Brady Anderson, played for the Baltimore Orioles. I know Brady. I didn't say Cal Ripken Jr. I like Brady Anderson, man. He had pretty cool pork chop sideburns. And, when you're a kid, you think things like that are cool. So the Baltimore Orioles, they're playing well. Yankees also playing well in the American League East. Houston Astros surprisingly playing well. You got the usual suspects, playing well in Major League Baseball. Defending World Series champs Chicago Cubs, they're playing pretty well. And, baseball, again, long season. But you know what it is. Birdland. Shout out to the Baltimore Orioles. I told you. The show is jam-packed, man. More hot topics. What I got for you? Oh, yeah. While we were gone on our mini hiatus, I guess you want to say, the NFL draft happened. And I know you guys missed the NFL. The NFL season is right around. Actually, it's year round. So the NFL draft happened a couple weeks ago. Number 1 overall pick for the Cleveland Browns, Myles Garrett, defensive end out of Texas A&M. That was no surprise. A lot of people had him as the highest rated player in the draft. And, there was no surprise that Cleveland took him. But number 2 overall pick was a surprise. Mitchell, don't call me Mitch Trubisky, quarterback out of the University of North Carolina in Chapel Hill, was taken number 2 overall by the Chicago Bears. Chi-Town, what's going on? The Windy City, what's happening? You just signed Mike Glennon, ex-NC State quarterback, in the offseason. He's making $15 million per year. Then you go and draft another quarterback, number 2 overall? What are you doing, Chicago? I guess you got a lot of confidence in Mitchell Trubisky. He wanted to be called Mitchell Trubisky. He was known as Mitch Trubisky his whole career at UNC. All of a sudden, he wants to be called Mitchell Trubisky, but I digress. He went number 2 overall. Now, that was very surprising to me because I had Deshaun Watson out of Clemson as the number 1 quarterback in the draft. He was taken 10 picks later by the Houston Texans, and I don't think that's a bad landing spot for Deshaun Watson. Deshaun Watson led Clemson to the national championship this past season in college football, had a great national championship game against Alabama, and I thought that he was going to be the number 1 quarterback taken, but teams fall in love with who they fall in love with, and the Bears fell in love with Mitch Trubisky, so they took him number 2. But Deshaun Watson playing for the Houston Texans, that could be a dream situation for Watson. The Texans have one of the best defenses in the National Football League, and Deshaun Watson is, in my opinion, he's the best quarterback in this draft. I think he's a future star in the NFL, so that's going to be a situation to look for as those two guys go along in their NFL career to see who has the better career, Mitch Trubisky or Deshaun Watson. Had a lot of local players drafted in the NFL draft, man. Shout out to Tariq Cohen of North Carolina A&T, running back out of Bunn, North Carolina. He went to the Chicago Bears as well in the 4th round, 119th pick overall. Shout out to Tariq Cohen, man. He did his thing at A&T. One of the great players in HBCU history. Little guy in football standards. I mean, he's about 5'7", 160, 175 pounds, but he can play. That guy has been a stellar athlete at the HBCU level. Hopefully he can take it to the NFL level and continue to do great things. NC State had 3 of their players drafted in the NFL. Safety Josh Jones, taken in the 2nd round, 61st overall by the Green Bay Packers. You got Jack Tocho, a cornerback, taken in the 7th round by the Minnesota Vikings, and also running back Matt Days, taking in the 7th round by the Cleveland Browns. UNC had several players drafted, had TJ Logan taken by the Arizona Cardinals. Elijah Hood went to the Oakland Raiders. And, UNC, as you all know, I'm not the biggest UNC fan, man, but I always got to give respect where respect is due, man, because UNC's athletic programs, they're always good. Carolina just won the national championship in men's basketball for this past season. And, you got to give respect where respect is due, man. Mac Hollins, wide receiver for the Tar Heels. He got drafted by the Philadelphia Eagles. Also, Ryan Switzer gives me another reason to hate the Dallas Cowboys because the Cowboys took Ryan Switzer. And, I'm a 49ers fan. I love the Niners, and I hate the Dallas Cowboys. But I digress, man. The Tar Heels had several players drafted. TJ Logan is one to look at for the Arizona Cardinals, taken in the 5th round, like I said before. 4.37 speed. That guy can fly. I think he's going to make a huge impact for the Arizona Cardinals. We'll see. Also, local players drafted. Zay Jones, record-setting wide receiver out of East Carolina University, taken in the 2nd round by the Buffalo Bills. UNC Charlotte had a defensive lineman taken. Defensive tackle Larry Okunjobi, taken in the 3rd round by the Cleveland Browns. And also Wake Forest linebacker Markel Lee, taken in the 5th round by the Oakland Raiders. You got countless players from around the area signing free agent contracts. Man, it's going to be a real good NFL season coming up, man. I look for a lot of local talent to be playing in the NFL for the upcoming season. And I told you, the podcast is popping 10, man. We just covered the NFL draft. We just covered Major League Baseball. We just covered boxing. And that was just for the hot topics, man. After the break, we're going to get into the NBA playoffs. I told you it's popping 10 right now. Now we know who's going to be playing in the Western Conference Finals, and we know who's going to be playing in the Eastern Conference Finals. I'm going to start with the Western Conference Finals after the commercial break. We're going to take this break. We'll be right back. You're listening to